Good morning, one and all. I'm happy to be I'm happy to be present in front of you. Today, I'm going to talk to you about dealing with the students effectively. I invite all this session. This session will talk about dealing with the students effectively. This session is actually good for a teacher, good for different people who are dealing with the students, even for a hostel warden, and even for anyone else, a trainee, or the one who is pursuing their degree with respect to education, wanted to be a teacher. For all, this session would be an eye opener how to deal with the students effectively in this COVID pandemic situation, and all of you are in your home safe, I suppose. And this kind of sessions will really enhance your skills related to different aspects. I would like to start this session with a quote. A great person is one who can make a small person feel great and perform great. We know about different student behavior. Students are interesting, energetic, enthusiastic, intelligent, smart, loving, highly social, extra talented. There are a lot of examples related to students' behavior. And when we talk about students, their nature and their being in the classroom, each and every student is different from other student. Not all students are same. So, what is the essence or crux that we have to have in our mind when we deal with the students is attitude. Attitude is everything. Attitude makes the person to take a right decision in a right time. And we need to understand one thing, that we deal with people, not with machine. So there are some strategies, tips, which I can say that which can make you to enhance the student dealing kind of techniques. One, that is smile. Smile is a powerful weapon. You can even break ice with it. And we always say there is a quotation that talks about the curve that can make lines into straight. So smile is that kind of a curve. So when we have a smile and greet people itself, we can find a difference. And obviously, when we deal with the children, when we deal with the students, smile would be a great strategy to move on. And then pay attention to others. The second strategy is attention, giving attention or listening skill. So when students come with different issues, different problems, better we need to give our ears to them. So pay attention to others, listening, especially practicing active listening. That's a great skill. Every good conversation starts with good listening. That's what people say. So when we start listening itself, half the problem gets solved. We can understand actually what the other person expresses in a right way when we start listening. And another strategy which I would like to quote here, and that is resolve conflicts amicably. We are not having a war between student and ourselves. So it's not pulling a tug of war between ourselves and students. We need to solve conflicts amicably. And when we communicate with the students, we need to communicate clearly. What we have to have in our mind is how we communicate with our children. Kids actually does not know what is going on, what is right and what is wrong. So when we communicate with the students also, we need to communicate how we communicate with the kids, because they'll be very much cautious when we communicate with our kids. We will look into way in such a way that the kids should not misunderstand our words. Similarly, when we communicate with the students also, we need to give a appropriate instruction so that it need not be misunderstood. Then another beautiful strategy I would like to say, that is have a sense of humor. Sense of humor adds value to life, especially when we deal with the students. We have round the clock, a lot of classes, workload pressure. Similarly, students have their assignments, projects. All of us are running around for some common objective, that is knowledge seeking and knowledge transformation. And there, what we have to have in mind is have a sense of humor. Okay, it adds a lot of value to life in every aspect. When we add a small sense of humor, that would initiate a small smile, that would really calm down a lot of problems. And then the next would be set it from their side, that is empathetic. Be very empathetic with the students, because we have students across the globe. It's not that from your family, a member whom you know very well, who knows you very well. So that is not the case between a student and a teacher. So be empathetic with the student. Try to put yourself or your legs into the shoes of the student and try to understand what is the problem the student is facing. So empathetic understanding, that is understanding from their side, would really help us to resolve the conflicts. And the next would be, don't complain about anything. Try to do something about something. That is, if the student comes with some problem, or if you're able to find some student from some difficulty, just taking the issue to different shoulders and complaining or creating a label about the student does not make a real solution for the particular issue, or it is not good for the student also. On the other side, try to do something about it. You can also always direct a student towards the right authority if you are not able to give a solution, rather than giving a wrong solution, or rather than posing the student in a different way. Try to actually direct the student in a right way, because teachers are expected to be mentors, guides. So we need to behave in such a way. And with this few strategies, I would like to take you to a very great principles given by Stephen Covey. He's an author, American writer, well-known person. Many of us know him, and many of us have read a lot of his words. And one of his very famous contribution is Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. Every teacher has to read this book on Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I cannot give the whole kind of a glimpse of this book, but I can give you the seven habits with some examples, so that that would really initiate you to read this book, or at least when you listen to the seven habits which you try to apply in your life, we can really deal with the students effectively. The first habit Stephen Covey refers is be proactive. We all know about active, that is action. The moment whenever something is being directed to us, we act. Also, we react. But how we have to be as a teacher is be proactive. Proactive approach to a kind of a mistake is to acknowledge it instantly, correct and learn from it. So proactiveness is like it's a rational action. I can put it in this way, as how in psychology we say that every action should be there in a right way towards a right person. Okay, in a right time, in a way you need to put it in a right way. So a proactive approach is that acknowledging things and instantly correcting, and if there is a mistake, we need to learn from it. So we need to understand the habit of being proactive, and we need to have a personal vision. In the first habit, Stephen Covey refers to personal vision. Each one of us should have a personal statement, our goals, destination, what we are planning to do. Like that, we need to have a personal statement for ourselves. We need to start our journey with this personal statement, and then we can direct the students also in the right way. The second habit which Stephen Covey refers is begin with the end in mind. In this pandemic scenario, this quote makes me to think about our pandemic situation, because right now we are also in an abstract situation of what is the end of this COVID-19. But on the other side, when we talk about our personality, and as I said, even in our COVID-19, we are all expecting an end, when the end will be. So, on the other side, when we talk about our personality, begin with the end in mind. The habit of personal leadership. So, when you start with some action, you should know when you're able to complete it. You cannot just post it to somebody else, or just we can say not make in such a way that let it go on, let it, we'll see when it's going to end. That kind of an approach will not be successful for a teacher, and we are all the role models for the students. So first we need to start in such a way that we need to know the end when before we start an action. So begin with end in mind means to begin each day, each task, and each project with a clear vision of your desired direction and destination. So when you start, you should know where you're going to land. Without knowing where you're going to land, if you're going to start, it will take you to a total miserable situation. Habit 3, important for a teacher and also for each and every individual, put first things first. Okay, organizing and executing around priorities. Prioritization is the one that each and every individual human being has to implement or try to learn in his life, in his or her life. That is, put first things first. Especially as a teacher, we need to know to prioritize. As we all know that we have lots of workload, teaching, research, other assignments, even especially in this COVID situation, we have lots of other online activities, conducting some webinars or attending some workshops. But on the other side, especially a few more aspects that I forgot to say, that is taking care of family, taking care of children. So in this situation, working from home, when we are going to see this habit 3, that is first put things first, according to Stephen Covey, it would be a very need of the hour habit, which is need of the hour, I can say. So we need to organize and execute around priorities. Number 4, think win win, the habit of mutual benefit. Of course, as I referred in the beginning, you are not having a war between students. It is not that we are having a tug of war. I also referred we need to resolve conflicts amicably with them. So, on the other side, how we have to deal with them is we need to have a win win situation. We all know one. Old story about our frog and hare and tortoise. So all of us know that story, and all of us have ended the story in our schooling as slow and steady wins the race and tortoise won the race. On the other side, we have that is some extension of the story which I would like to say today. Okay, if you are interested and if you have not heard the story, please listen to it, and you can pass on to your kids and also to your family members, because it's a great story of a learning which explains think win-win situation. Because every day with different people, we need to go with this habit, that is win-win, even with your wife, even with your kids, even with whomever you're going to work along, that is colleague, even with your domestic aid, that is the maid whom you have with you. So for all what is required to have a peaceful living or building interpersonal relationship, win-wins the habit of having win-win situation will really help. So at this juncture, I would like to explain you and extend the story that we have all have learned for a long time, that is the tortoise and hare story. So as we know, the tortoise won in the end of the race because slow and steady wins the race, because hare slept for some time because of its overconfidence. This is what taught to us. But after some time, anybody who has lost the race, what is expected to be done is we have to sit and realize about our failure. We can't just leave that we have failed. We cannot actually got frustrated also. On the other side, we can't actually be lethargic also. Rather than we are expected to sit and think about our failure. Similarly, the hare was thinking and thinking about the failure. Then the hare understood that it was overconfident. That is the reason it got failed. So on the other side, hare decided to bring back its confidence and come over the overconfidence, and went to tortoise and asked for another race. Tortoise, as usual, understood the situation that whatever it is possible to him, it will do. So in that decision, tortoise accepted for the race. So both tortoise and hare had another race. Both started running, and now in the end, obviously as expected, hare won the race. So when hare won the race, the moral of the story is quick and consistency will win. Yeah, of course. The self realization made hare to understand, and it was quick, obviously, and it was consistent. Also, it didn't stop anywhere, and end of the day, hare won the race. And now, what is the moral? Is that on the other side, hare won, tortoise lost. So as I referred already, someone who has lost, what they have to do is they have to sit and realize why they have lost. Similarly, tortoise also sat and it started thinking about the reason behind. Then he had understood that what is the strength. If God has given her a strength that is running very fast on the land, similarly, God has could have given me some other strength. Okay, I may have my own ability. Each and every individual, each and every being in this earth have their own special ability. So, tortoise started thinking about its ability, and then it decided to call her for another race. Now hare is always ready, because now it is not overconfident. It has understood, realized the scenario, what it can do. Then hare accepted for the race. But now tortoise said the race will be on the place which I am going to show you. Hare agreed. So but it was a waterland. So now tortoise showed a pond. Hare got stuck. Tortoise jumped inside the pond and it swam properly, and it reached the destination, where hare is still stuck on the same place. It could not. Now, who has won the race? Tortoise has won the race. Now, what is the moral of the story? Somebody is able to realize your talent and ability, you can win the race. Each and every being, as I referred, have your own special ability, special talent. So when you're going to realize the day, the time when you're going to realize that, very sure you can win. With that scenario, tortoise won the race. But on the other side, now they both sat together. So now what is required is win-win. Neither tortoise win nor hare won. So it is not the case. Rather, both of them sat together. That is the teamwork, group work. Sat together and discussed how both can win together, bringing towards a win-win situation. So then they decided to start a race, and they have decided also the place for the race. That is, to some extent, there is a land, and then there is a water, and then you have the destination. So the hare started the race. Hare was having tortoise on its back till the place where the water region came. When the water region arrives, it jumped down. Similarly, tortoise had the hare on its shoulder. Now both of them, with a very comfortable way, they reach the destination very short point of time, and this we refer it as win-win situation. Okay, as I was referring to Stephen Covey's fourth habit of think win-win, that is the habit of mutual benefit. When you join hands together, you can win, both the parties can win, and the success will be much more beautiful, and within a very short period of time, that is more efficiency, effectiveness can be seen in the group teamwork. And this is what is expected with the students. So what we, it is not that we know everything and then we need to instruct the students to behave accordingly. No, it is not so. With the present day scenario where everything is like, you have social media where each and every day students are getting updated with different aspects, and where in this scenario we are also in a situation to learn, sometimes unlearn, sometimes relearn. So this scenario is it's a kind of a scenario where we need to join hands with the students together in order to have a win-win situation. Now, habit 5 of Stephen Covey: seek first to understand than to be understood. Many times this habit is also applicable into your family also. So many times what we expect is we need to be understood by different people. We ask everyone that, can't you understand me, can't you understand me? But first of all, why can't we try to understand others rather than expecting that somebody else have to understand us first? So seek first to understand than to be understood. So there is a habit of communication that here Stephen Covey explains that wait, listen, first what people want to express, let them express, and then you can give your response. So that first you try to understand, so that many problems with gets, or especially when we deal with the students, there are n number of students. You may be one single teacher for a 60 student in the class. So what is expected here is you need to first understand the difficulties the student face. That's how we can express the kind of quality of a teacher, rather than making the students or asking the students to understand our situation, our difficulty. It is not going to help us in any way. So we need to understand the students, and then rather than expecting to be understood by them. Then habit 6 by Stephen Covey, synergize. That is synergy, a kind of a creative cooperation. This habit is also a continuation of win-win situation, I will say, because this is present day situation. Even this pandemic situation makes us to understand the need of synergy, because if the students and the teacher and the social media, also the technology, all aspects are totally joining, there is a synergy between everything, only then there is a possibility the knowledge can be transferred. In this pandemic situation, we are not able to move out of our house, we are not able to go to the institutes in order to teach the students. Rather than we are trying to go over the different way of technology based teaching and technology based learning. But this technology based teaching learning itself is possible because of synergy only. If all the stakeholders and the bodies, if they are not ready to synergize, have a creative cooperation, then this is not possible. So, what is the habit 6 explained by Stephen Covey is absolutely true, and it is becoming evident in the present day scenario. Then the last habit, habit 7, sharpen the saw. That is, you are going to, what is presently going on through these webinar is that we all know different things, but still we wanted to sharpen our saw, make it very sharp with respect to different skills, listening to different lectures, reading a lot of books. We are interested to sharpen our skills. Sharpen the saw is nothing but physical, mental, social, emotional, spiritual, all the different aspects of personality has to be renewed, revived. That is what the present day situation. So sharpening the saw is the habit 7 explained by Stephen Covey. So, with the 7 habits, Stephen Covey clearly explains about how we can be successful in life. But I would say that these are all some of the 7 tips which he has given us so that we can deal with the students effectively. Okay, now in some of the other aspects that is connected to enhancing our relationship. Few more tips I would like to quote in this situation. How to have a peaceful environment, kind of a building an interpersonal relationship with the students. One is to enhance relationship, you should go with the right speech. If you're going to break the egg, once broken is broken. You can't bring the yolk back inside the egg. Similarly, is what is the similarly we can also say that that's how we have a relationship with the students. Once you're going to bring some words out, spell some words out, then you can't bring it back. So on the other side, we need to also have to understand that there should be a right speech with respect to the students. And then, no overpowering. Many relationships fail because one party tries to overpower another or demands too much from other. Many times we do also do this mistake with our students because we have a feeling that we are the teacher. So on the other side, we expect them to do what we have told them, instructed them immediately. Sometimes we also over pressurize them, and we express our power to them. On end of the day, it goes as overpower. So when power is exercised, when there is a respect, people will follow. When you overpower, you also lose the respect on the other side, and you can't demand anything with respect to the students. Rather than, you should make them to do it with your love, care, and proper instructions and mentoring them. That's how we have to make them to do their work rather than demanding work from them. And no pointing fingers. So if we forgive the others, others will ignore our mistake too. On the other side, the students may do some mistakes. That may be mistakes on our part also. Not that all of us can be perfect at all times, but rather than, whenever they do some mistakes, if you're going to point them on face, as we all know, one finger faces the other 4 fingers faces you. That's how the student will also show you. So we can't be perfect all the time. So try to support them, guide them if they are mistaking, but don't point finger so that you hurt them in front of others. So pointing finger is actually a not a good habit of a teacher. Being a teacher, we are expected to be patient. I already in the beginning told about empathetic understanding, listening skill, all those things. Similarly, being patient is also a very important skill a teacher has to exercise. People make mistakes. We all are allowed to make mistakes. We are actually forgiving all our children when they do some blunders. But when it comes to students, we are actually behaving as a kind of a drill masters to punish them. Why? So people make mistakes. We are allowed to make mistakes, but the action we take while in a rage will haunt us forever. So don't take such actions so that forever in your life it is going to paint you. So be patient situation and think and try to take decision. There is always a better way to see life. Before ending this session, because we have another 10 minutes to end this session, I would like to tell you a small story before I end this session. A blind boy was sitting on the steps of a building with a hat by his feet. He held up with a sign which said, "I am blind, please help." And people dropped a few coins on his hat. A man was walking by. He took a few coins from his pocket and dropped them into the hat. Then he took the signboard, turned it around, and wrote some other words in that. He put the signboard back so that everyone who walked will see the board and see the new words which he has written. Soon the hat began to fill up. Lot of more people were giving money to the blind boy. The blind boy was really surprised. That afternoon, the man who had changed the sign came to see how things were. With the footsteps, the blind boy understood and recognized and asked him, "Were you the person who changed my sign this morning? And what did you write in that?" The man said, "I only wrote the truth." But I said what you said in a different way. What the man has written on that board is, "Today is a beautiful day and I cannot see it." Do you think the first sign and the second sign were saying the same meaning? Of course, both signs told that the boy was blind. But the first sign simply told that I am blind and simply asked the people to help by putting some money in their hat. But the second sign told people that they were all able to enjoy this beautiful day, but the boy could not enjoy it because he was blind. Should we be surprised that the second sign was more effective? There were all two lessons that you can learn from this simple story. One is, be thankful for what you have. Someone else does not have it. Help them how much ever you can. And the second one is, always be creative, be innovative, think differently. There is always a better way to see. So if you're going to follow this, whenever you want to express anything to the student, just think for a moment. There is always a better way to say what you're going to say. Then never you will end up with any problem with the students. So dealing with the student is a very beautiful aspect as a teacher. I hope you all deal with the students effectively with the session that I've been with you for the last half an hour. Thanks for the patient listening. I would like to have some questions in the chat forum if at all you have something. If somebody have any doubt, can raise in the chat forum. If not, thanks for your patient listening. I would like to end the session by saying you stay safe, stay positive, not of COVID-19, but positive during the phase of COVID-19. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.